Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I have my update for Project Level Up. I am so excited. So this is my Kylove Triumph of Venus palette, and this is my level 1 palette. I went back down to level 1 my last update, so I am super excited. I felt like this was a good level for this palette because I don't have any pans on it to begin with, and I was a little intimidated, if I'm being completely honest. So this one is my level 1, so the goal is to use each shade one time and hit one pan. So I will show a picture of what this palette looked like to the side over here when I first rolled this one in. And here is what we are looking like today. So I hope you can see some good use on this palette. I have been working on this one for about a month and a half, I would say. I rolled it in right after I rolled the other one out. So my update was only about a month ago, but I have been working on it a little bit longer because I did film this pretty much right away, right after I rolled out my last palette. So I am going to go through each of my uses on this palette and see if we hit my goals. So before I jump into that, I do want to say this project was created by Sophie Alexandra. I think it is so much fun, and I just needed to give her a quick shout out. But we can jump into my uses. So like I said, I need to use every shade one time and hit one pan. So Depths is the first shade up here, and I did end up reaching for that one 3 times. So definitely hit my goal with that one. Next up is Storm, which I ended up using only once, but again, I did hit my goal with that one. Then we have the shade Temptuous, which I reached for 12 times, and as you can hopefully see, it is really small, but I did hit pan on this shade. I did decide I wanted to focus on a shade that was maybe a little bit more challenging. I know that I talked about when I rolled this shade in, reaching for one of these shimmer shades, which probably would have been easier, but I just really enjoy this shade, and you will see looks coming up on the screen. A lot of blue tone looks with this palette, with focusing in on that shade. And I just had a lot of fun playing with it. It's one of my favorites in this palette, so it definitely wasn't a chore to reach for. But I am super happy that I got pan in this one. I wasn't sure if I was going to get pan before this update, but I did really focus in on it. So 12 uses within this project for this shade, and I am so excited to have a pan in this palette. I feel like the pans are shallower than you would probably expect, considering how thick this packaging is, but they are still fairly shallow. But super excited if you couldn't tell. So next up I have the shade Seafoam, which I reached for twice. I definitely thought I was going to reach for this one more, but I feel like when I talked myself into panning this one, I wanted to make sure I wasn't going in on that one because I was pretty sure this one would take me fewer uses, and so I ended up just kind of not using it a ton. So only 2 uses on that shade, but it is one I know I will reach for more in the future. Next up we have the shade Shallow, which I reached for 4 times. And then Beam, I also reached for 4 times. I love this entire row here. I think it's super fun, super easy for me to use. And yeah, I just really love those shades. Next we have the shade 1740, which I reached for twice. And then Tide, I also reached for twice. And this last shade here, I only reached for once. But again, I did reach my goal with all of these shades. I don't really reach for the warm tones a ton in this palette, especially this corner shade over here, but it was a good opportunity with this palette to at least get one use on the shades, so super happy. This palette is not an absolute favorite of mine. I feel like the quality could be better, but I do like a number of the shades in this palette, probably around half of this palette I do really, really enjoy. So it is one that I still have fun playing around with, and I'm really happy it got rolled into this project. Like I said, this was a little intimidating to start, but I'm super happy that I was able to get some good use on this one. So I did hit all of my goals with this palette, so I will be rolling it out, and we will be moving up to level 2. Alright, I have my Tiny Decisions wheel pulled up here with a good majority of my palettes that I have eligible for this project. I have been taking off the ones that have been in this project previously, so I am going to be rolling in my level 2 palette. Sigma Cinderella. I am gonna go grab that palette and be right back. Alright, so I pulled out my Sigma Cinderella palette. I am very nervous about this one, if I'm being honest. Very intimidated. I do not yet have any pans in this palette, so I definitely have free reign of what I would like to do. So for level 2, I need to hit 2 pans and use every shade twice. I think the 2 uses will be really fun on each of these shades. It will definitely give me a good opportunity to reach into some shades that I am not normally reaching for, so I'm definitely excited about that. 14 shades to get 2 uses on. It's the 2 pans that I'm a little nervous about. I feel like I've heard that Sigma shades are a little bit more difficult to hit pan on. Let me know if you guys have found that to be the case. I have a couple shades in mind for what I want to hit pan on. I am thinking that Wishful might be a definite way to go. That is a really nice inner corner shade for me, and it's super easy to use. I use that almost every time I reach into this palette, so I think that one might be a good kind of introduction to panning in this palette. The other shade I am thinking about is the shade Courtyard. I feel like that one is a little bit more on the powdery side. I feel like that one you can definitely see kind of the most usage in out of some of these shades. So I feel like I might go for that one. I do love green eyeshadow, so that one might be really fun to reach for. I am just going to kind of see what I like to use, how I'm feeling about this palette as I start doing the usage goals, and see what kind of speaks to me as the ones that I want to hit pan on. But as of right now, those are kind of the 2 that are at the front of my mind to hit pan on, but I am definitely excited to be getting use out of this palette. I am just a little nervous about how long it's going to take me to hit pan on 2 shades in here. So let me know what you guys think. If you have panned any Sigma palettes, please let me know how long that took you, how difficult it was. I am definitely curious. I have not hit pan on any of my Sigma shades, so this is going to be a first, but I am definitely excited. This is a palette I have been wanting to get more use out of, so I think in that aspect this is going to be really good. So we are just going to have to wait and see. It's probably going to take me at least a couple updates to hit all of my goals with this palette, but we're just going to see. We're just going to play around with it, have some fun, and yeah, I'm really excited that this one is rolling in. So that will conclude today's update. Let me know what you guys thought. Are you doing this project? What palette are you currently working on? Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. I am really trying to hit 500 subscribers, so if you are interested, I would be so thankful. And with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!